Hello, welcome to ResoCoder in the second part of this Android tutorial series in which we are making a Firebase Firestore chat app. You are going to learn how to create My Account Fragment, in which we will be able to set the name of the user and the bio of the user and also the profile picture of the user. This means that we are also going to be working with Firestore and with Cloud Storage, so let's get right to it. In the Firebase console in the browser, open the project which you created in the last part. And then you have this Develop tab over here and you want to go to Database, Cloud Firestore Beta. And we are going to start in test mode and then enable. And once we have that, we want to go to Storage and get started. And here we are also starting basically in test mode, so anyone can write or read data, but we are going to change this in the later parts. So got it. And here we go. Now let's go to the build.gradle file for the module app. And we want to add implementation for Firebase Storage and also for Firebase UI Storage. And Firebase UI Storage uses Glide library to load the images into image views. This means that the Glide library is already packed inside the Firebase UI Storage. However, to have the latest version of the Glide library, it's not a bad thing to include it inside the build.gradle file. We are also going to be using annotations with Glide, so let's add annotation processor, shall we? But annotation processor is not going to work for us, at least for Kotlin classes. If we wrote a Java class and annotated it, it would work perfectly. But for Kotlin, we need to use something else. And that something else is kapt, which is Kotlin annotation processor. So we want to apply plugin Kotlin kapt, which is the Kotlin annotation processor. And now instead of annotation processor, we can write kapt. And that's it, so now sync. Now let's head to the sign-in activity, which is under app, Java, the first package, and sign-in activity. And we have a to-do here, initialize current user in Firestore. First, we need to define what a user is, so let's create a new package. So right-click, new package, model. And inside this model package, we want to add new Kotlin class, user. It's going to be a data class, because after all it's going to do is hold data. And it will have three properties: val name, which will be string, then val bio, which will be also string, and val profile picture path, which will be of type string, but this will be nullable string. This is because the profile picture is not set by default, so it will be null. And then because of Firestore, we need to provide a parameterless constructor, and the secondary constructor will simply call the primary constructor defined right here. So this name will be blank, bio will be also blank, and the profile picture path will be null. Again, this constructor is here because of Firestore, because it needs to have a parameterless constructor. Alright, now that we have the user defined, let's do something with it in Firestore. Let's create a new package called util, and inside it let's create Firestore util, so Kotlin file or class, but this will be an object, and its name will be Firestore util, and an object is basically a singleton, so there is only one instance of it present at any given moment. And inside Firestore util, let's define private val Firestore instance of type Firebase Firestore, and it will be lazily initialized, so by lazy, and we want to lazily get Firebase Firestore .get instance. Lazy initialization means that the value which we get from Firebase Firestore.get instance will be set inside the Firestore instance property only once we need it. And once we need it means when we call Firestore instance from the code below. Then private val current user document reference, or docref for short, of type document reference. And Firestore is comprised of documents and collections. Collections contain documents, documents contain collections, then those collections contain another document, and it goes on and on. Only a document can hold data, and collection can hold multiple documents. Each user of our application will have its own document inside Firestore. In this document, we will store these fields which we define here, name, bio, and profile picture path. And the property current user docref will be read-only. And we want to get Firestore instance.document, which is inside the collection users. And then inside the collection users, we need to identify each single user. And what is the best way to identify a user's document? It is with the help of Firebase auth. So $, so we can interpolate, and the document will be located under users and Firebase auth get instance .user_id or UID for short. And UID is a nullable string because if we are not signed in, it's going to be null. In that case, we want to throw, and this is a null coalescing operator. So if UID is null, we want to throw null pointer exception saying that UID is null. Now we are going to finally create the initialization function for the user. So fun, and it will be called init current user if first time. If first time is here because when we are signing in, we will always run that function inside here. But when the user has already signed in on another device before, we don't really need to initialize it inside Firestore. That is why we say if first time inside this function. It's gonna accept one higher order function onComplete, which will be called once the initialization is complete. And that function will accept no arguments, and it will return unit. Unit is basically void in Java. Inside this function, we want to get current user document reference, and we want to get it from database. And after we successfully get it, so add on success listener, and success listener provides us with a document snapshot. And here we want to check if document snapshot doesn't exist, so not document snapshot.exists. And if it doesn't exist, we need to initialize the user. So val new user is equal to user, and make sure that you select the correct package and not Firebase UI. In this case, we want to select com.resocoder.firebase-message.or firemessage.model. And we can already set the name of the user because we can get it from Firebase auth, get instance, current user. And if it's not null, so safe access operator, we want to get the display name. And then the bio of the user will be blank and the profile picture path will be null. Oh, and also if display name is null, we want to set it to be blank. So null coalescing operator and blank string. And null coalescing operator is written the other way, so first question mark and then 2 dots, colon. And then we want to set the document inside Firestore to contain the new user. So current user docref.set, we want to set it to new user. And once this is successfully completed, so add on success listener, we want to call onComplete, which is the higher order function. And if the document snapshot already exists, so else, we want to call onComplete from here, because we don't need to initialize it. Now we aren't gonna need these functions straight away, but let's create them right now. Fun update current user. It will have parameters name, bio, and profile picture path, and they will be all set to blank strings or null, just like this, because we want to have all the fields which are inside the user class. Then we want to create val user field map, which will be equal to mutable map of string and any. And we are doing this because we may need to update just some part of the user. For example, we could update name but not the profile picture path. And if name is not blank, we want to set user field map at the position of name to be equal to name. The same goes for bio. And then if profile picture path doesn't equal null, we also want to set user field map profile picture path to be equal to profile picture path. And then finally we want to update the current user document reference. So current user docref.update with user field map. And now the last function inside Firestore util for this tutorial, get current user. It will also have an onComplete function, but this function will accept a user. And inside here we want to write current user docref.get. And when the get is successful, so add on success listener, we want to call onComplete, and we are going to get the user from it, which is the implicit parameter of type document snapshot. And on this document snapshot, we want to call to object of class user, class.java. Alright, now let's get to sign in activity. And instead of this to do, we want to call Firestore util. And we are going to put all this start activity and progress dialog.dismiss inside this function. And here the progress dialog actually starts to make sense again. Alright, now let's create my account fragment. So create new package, fragment, and inside it we want to create a new fragment, and it's gonna be a blank fragment. Its name will be my account fragment. We don't want to include factory methods nor interface callbacks. And finish. And let's create the layout first. I'm again not going to bore you with creating the layout. You can check out some of my tutorials on Android layouts if you want to learn how to make them. Let's preview it. So what do we have here? We have an image view with the ID image view profile picture. It has a fixed width and a fixed height, and it has some placeholder image. We've added this image in the previous part. Then we have two edit text and they are text input edit texts. This means that we can also set the hint on them. One is edit text name and another one is edit text bio. And then there are two buttons, button save, which has color accent background tint, and then button sign out, which has color primary dark background tint. And that's basically it. So now let's go to my account fragment Kotlin file and let's delete all of these comments. Inside this fragment, we are gonna be selecting a profile picture image. That is done through start activity on result and then on activity result. So we need to have a request code rc select image and it will be equal to 2, for example. Then we need to keep track of the selected image. So private val selected image bytes, because all images are just byte arrays. And actually this is not supposed to be val but rather late init var. I don't know where I was heading with val there. And then lastly private var, picture just changed. And by default it will be false. Then inside onCreate view we don't want to straight out return this inflated view, but we want to put it inside a val view. And on this root view we want to find a bunch of other views. For example view.image profile picture and also button save. Thankfully we don't need to write it in this way. We can first call view.apply and then simply write image view profile picture. And on this we want to set onClick listener, in which we are gonna create an intent, and on it we wanna apply. The type will be image /n asterisk. The intent action will be intent action get content, and then we wanna put extra for this intent. The name will be intent extra meme types, and the extra meme types are array of image /jpeg and also image /png. You could also write image /gif or image / any format that you want to include. And then once we have this intent, we want to start activity for result with this intent. And we are not gonna pass this intent straight in here, but we are gonna call intent, create chooser, and the target intent is the intent which we have just created. And the title will go select image, and the request code is rc select image. Alright, so we are starting activity for result. Now we need to get that result back. But before we can return view from this onCreateView function. Now let's override onActivity result, and if request code is equal to rc select image and result code is equal to activity result OK, and also if data is not null, and then finally if data is not null, data is the intent and data is the data inside the actual intent. When the request code is rc select image, we have selected an image. We are gonna get it in the form of path to the image. So val selected image path is equal to data, then val selected image bitmap, or BMP for short. We can get a bitmap from a path by calling media store, images, media.getBitmap. We need to specify a content resolver, and we can get it by calling activity of this fragment and safe access operator content resolver. And let's put this down. And next we need to specify an URI, which is selected image path. So now we have bitmap and we are going to convert it to a byte array, and we are going to apply a JPEG compression along the way. So val output stream is equal to byte array output stream. Then we are going to call selected image bitmap dot compress, and the format will be bitmap compress format dot JPEG. The quality will be 90, and we want to put the output inside the output stream. Then we want to get the byte array from this output stream, so we are going to write selected image bytes, which is the byte array property selected image bytes, and it's going to be equal to output stream dot to byte array. Then we want to load picture because we want to display it inside the image view, and we are going to get to it in just a bit. And then we want to specify picture just changed to be true. Alright, now let's get back to onCreate, and inside view.apply we want to write button save because we want to get it from the view, and set onClick listener, and selected image bytes is a late init var. Inside this onClick listener we want to first check if the selected image bytes is initialized. We can do it by getting the property member from this class by writing two colons and selected image bytes and then check if it is initialized. And if it is, we want to update the profile photo to the cloud storage. So let's create storage util under the util package. It's also gonna be an object. And similar to Firestore instance, we wanna specify private val storage instance of type Firebase Storage. And it's again gonna be lazily initialized. And here let's call Firebase Storage .get instance. Then private val current user ref of type storage reference. And this is also gonna be a read-only property, so get. And we wanna get it from storage instance .reference, which is the root of the storage. And from this root of the storage, we wanna get a child. And we are again gonna use user ID from Firebase auth. So Firebase auth.get instance.uid. And if the UID is null, we again want to throw null pointer exception. Alright, now fun upload profile photo. This will accept image bytes of type byte array, and also a higher order function on success, which will accept an image path string, and it will return unit. Now we need to create a location, otherwise known as a reference, for the image bytes to be saved in. So val ref is equal to current user ref dot child, and we want to save the profile pictures inside the folder profile pictures. And now we need to specify a unique name for each picture. We cannot always override the old picture with a new one. We need to always save it to a new file, because otherwise we will have problems with image cache, where it will always load the old image even though we changed it to another new one, until we manually clear the cache inside the system settings. So we need to create a new unique name each time. And unique names can be created inside the UUID class. And we want to create a UUID from bytes, so name UUID from bytes. And the byte array which we need to supply is image bytes. Cool, now we want to write a ref, put bytes, image bytes. It's really this simple. And when this operation is successful, we want to call onSuccess with the path of this reference. So ref.path. And we are later going to save it inside Firestore in the profile picture path field. And then last but not least, fun path to reference, which will accept a path of type string. And you guessed it right, it will return a reference. And we can get it by calling storage instance .get reference and specifying a path. Alright, now let's head back to my account Fragment. And so if selected image bytes is initialized, we want to upload profile photo to storage util. The image bytes is selected image bytes, and the onSuccess function will contain Firestore util, update current user, we can get the name from edit text name.text, and then toString, then bio can be obtained from edit text bio, and finally the profile picture path is image path, which is passed into this lambda. Then else, so if selected image bytes is not initialized, meaning that it's empty and we have not changed the profile picture, we can copy this Firestore util update current user, and instead of image path we are gonna pass in null. Then finally button sign out .set onClick listener, and we wanna simply sign out the user by using auth UI. So auth UI.get instance, and we wanna sign out. The context is this, add my account fragment. .context, and we can be sure that it is not null, so 2 exclamation marks for that. And once we are signed out, so add on complete listener, we want to start activity with intent for sign in activity, because you can only use the app when you are signed in. So when you sign out, you need to sign in again. And the flags for this activity are new task and clear task, which means that we cannot come back to main activity and my account fragment once we are signed out by pressing the back button. Alright, and now there are only a bunch of things left, which is to override on start. And here we are gonna load user from Firestore by calling Firestore util, get current user, and getting the user from Firestore takes some time. When the code inside these curly braces runs, this fragment can no longer be visible, in which case views will be null. And we need to get the views and update them, because we need to update edit text name, edit text bio, and also the profile picture. So if this at my account fragment is visible, we want to call edit text name, set text to user.name, then edit text bio dot set text to user.bio, and finally if not picture just changed and user.profile picture path is not equal to null, so when the user has some picture already set, and if this not picture just changed was not here, it would load the old picture after the user changes it, because it's not saved in Cloud Storage until the user presses save button. And for some reason, after you select image, it always calls on start after that. So it would always load the old image even though we are gonna load a picture over here as well. And this will load the new picture, and the loading of the new picture would be instantly negated if this not picture just changed was not here. And finally, how are we going to load pictures? We need to create a glide module. So let's create a new package, glide, and a new Kotlin class, FireMessage glide module. It will be annotated with glide module, and it's gonna derive from app glide module, and we will override one function, register components, and here we wanna call registry append storage reference class.java, then input stream class.java, and finally Firebase image loader .factory, and instantiate the factory. We are creating all of this because we want to be able to load images straight from the cloud storage. Once we have this, we need to rebuild the project, but first let's fix some errors inside my account fragment. So basically just let's comment this line out, and now go to build and rebuild project. Alright, now we can uncomment this and write glide app with this, because we need to specify a context, and then load, storage util, path to reference, and the path is user, the profile picture path. We are also gonna set a placeholder so that it doesn't blink to a white image until the actual image is loaded, so placeholder will be r.drawable, IC account circle black, and we wanna load the image into image view profile picture. And now we have this to do up here, load picture, and we are again gonna write glide app with this, but this time we already have the image in the memory, which is selected image bytes. So we wanna load selected image bytes, and we are again gonna load it into image view profile picture. Cool stuff. Now the last thing that we need to do is to go to main activity, and we have show my account fragment over here. We need to actually show the my account fragment. So let's create a private function, replace fragment, which will accept a fragment, and select the fragment from the support v4 library. And here we want to write support fragment manager, begin transaction, and on this transaction we want to apply replace, and we need to replace some layout with this fragment. So let's go to res, layout, and activity main, and instead of this text view we are gonna put a frame layout over here, which is pretty much an empty frame layout which expands because of this 0dp and 0dp inside a constrained layout. So it takes up the most space that it can. It has an ID fragment layout, and that's about it. So we want to replace r.id fragment layout with the fragment which is passed into this function, and then call commit. Now we are getting a lint thingy over here saying that this transaction should be completed with a commit call. We are already doing a commit call, but it doesn't know that because it's inside an apply block. So what we can do is to suppress lint. So Alt Enter and select suppress this lint. And inside navigation item selected listener, inside navigation my account class, we want to call replace fragment with new instance of my account fragment. Alright, and now let's test this app inside an emulator. And here we go. When we sign in, when we get to main activity, we are on the people tab, which has nothing inside it. But when we click on my account, you can see that it already loaded my name from the Firestore because we have set it from Firebase auth. We can also set my image to, for example, this green one. And then also set my bio to hello, and then click on save, and it's saved inside the Firestore and Cloud Storage. And now when we click on people, and then back on my account, which is going to recreate that fragment because it's gonna be replaced, you can see that after a while, all of it is loaded back to these views. When we do it again, the image is loaded faster because it's already cached on this device. So and that's it for this video. If you wanna get the code written in this tutorial, click on the link in the video description, which is gonna take you to resocoder.com. If this tutorial helped you with understanding the basics of Firestore and also Cloud Storage, give this video a like and also share it. If you don't want to miss more videos like this, subscribe to this channel and also hit the bell button so that you aren't gonna miss any of my new videos and you will be notified about them. Leave a comment if you have anything to say, follow me on social media, and see you in the next video.